Good evening. Oh, what a day it has been today. So this morning I was on and I was talking to you about go ask dad. And so one of the things that I have asked dad about is, and I have been praying about, is new tires for the car. It was my husband's car, and so I had to have everything transferred over to me. Um, so that I could get insurance on it and get the sticker on it and just stuff and things like that. And so, but it's needed new tires. Oh, it has needed new tires since he hit the curb. Didn't judge that turn very well, and he hit a curb, and it made the front left and the rear left tires had a bulge in them. And, I didn't know it until I took the car to get air put in the tires, and they were like, "Oh, you have to have tires." And then the other two were kind of bald. So I don't remember the last time that we had tires put on the car. I was like, "Oh no." And one place wanted 1,500 for a mid-range tire. And my mother kept coming, and I've been praying about it. It's like, God, I just thank you for tires. I don't know how you're going to do it, but you're putting tires on that car. I don't know how you're going to do it, but you're going to put tires on that car. Thank you, thank you, thank you for the tires. And so so we had 2 weeks of prayer in church. Hmm, I think it was like the middle 2 weeks of January that we had that done. And so and you had to write your prayer request on a card, and then everybody put the card in a bucket, and then for every day the cards were laid out on the stage at church, and people would come along and they'd just pick up cards, random cards, and they would pray over them. And no telling how many people prayed over that because I said I need tires for my car. And I just kept thanking the Lord. I don't know how you're going to do it, but I know that it's done. I know that you've done it. You take care of me. You love me. You take care of me. Wow. So today I finished my, talking to y'all, and then I I had something I needed to get done. Oh, and one of my investors that needed funding, he said, make sure to check your bank and to see that you got paid. And I checked yesterday, I didn't, and then I checked today, and I did. But there was a lot more in there. And I was like, praise God, where did this come from? And so I looked and I said, it was, I had to take the dogs to the groomers. I was supposed to take them have them there at 10. And this was like 9:30. And I looked at mother and I said, how fast can you get ready to go? She said, you just watch. So I watched, and it didn't take her long, and she was ready. And so I loaded up the dogs, and mother and and we didn't go to Beverly. That's in reference to the Beverly Hillbillies. We're not the Beverly Hillbillies. Um, but we dropped the dogs off at the groomers. I was so thankful for that because I've been like a month behind on paying the groomer, and our groomer has been widowed, and every lady that worked in there has been widowed, and I didn't know that until like a couple of months back, and so she's like, yeah, I will work with you, and I was like, good. So she's paid. I'm just elated in that. And when I looked at that, I was like, Mother, we're going to Costco. And because Costco has tires on sale, they have good tires on sale. And so we went there and we had several things to do. And my agenda today was to get tires, to get mother's hearing checked, and we got her hearing aids ordered, and to grocery shop. I was gonna try to get the car serviced, with the oil changed and all that stuff, because it says it's service is past due, which I know. Um, and I made and I was trying to get everything done and then pick the dogs up and all that kind of stuff. But this day has been so amazing. Not only did I get the dogs groomed and they look amazing, you might not can see them. I don't know how to get them over here either right now. But anyway, but I walked mother over to the hearing aid section, and and I said, you stay here and you get your stuff done. I'm gonna go get tires. Well, I get over to the tire section, and it says make an appointment, and I'm trying to figure out on my phone how to make an appointment, and I can't figure it out. So I asked this younger man next to me, how do you do this? And he said, let me see. He said, do you have the app? And I said, yes. So I got the app open for him and I handed it to him. And he was looking on there. He said, do you know what kind of tires you want? And I said, oh, no, I don't. Um, he said, well, then you need to talk to the lady at the front desk. I said, okay. So she called him next, and he's like, no, you go ahead. And but before that, hang on. I'm so sorry. I don't know how to mute this, and I'm about to sneeze. Anyway, we were just chit chatting, and I said, "Well, I need to get him today," and he said, "Oh, I doubt that's going to happen." And I said, "I don't." And then I told him my Social Security appointment story, where they said, "Oh, you're not getting out of here in 2 hours," and they were right. I got out in 2.5. Other people were there for 5 and 6 hours. I got out in 2.5. That's because I said, because I pray. I believe in God. And He does amazing things for me. He does miracles where other people, mm-mm, they just go in and they, que sera, whatever will be. That's what you get because that's what you expect. I go in and I expect good things to happen to me no matter what. Through the tests and the trials and things that I've been through, with being widowed and just the financial stuff and everything, like just everything. Um, Through all of that, I come out on top. And so the lady called him up next. He let me go, and I went up there and I said, I need tires, and I need them today. And I said, we were trying to get an appointment on there, but couldn't figure it out. And she was, went over to a computer and she was asking me questions and filling stuff out. And she said, well, and I told her which ones I wanted. I want the pretty ones because that's just how I pick out tires. Even when my husband would order tires for our spiders, he would do all the research and stuff like that, and then he'd come up and he'd say, "Which one do you want?" And I'd always tell him, "I want the pretty one." And so, that's how he ordered his too, because it worked well on my spider, it worked well on his, And then, you know, other people would ask, what kind of tire you got? It's the pretty one. And he would tease me too. But that is, I got the pretty one. And, I did, it wasn't that I had gotten a quote from another place and they had given me the best discount that they could give. But it was not on the the medium grade tire. It wasn't on the best. It wasn't on, uh, it wasn't the best or anything, but I only paid like $200 more and I got Michelin tires and the pretty ones. And she went out and looked at my tires and came back in and said, I'm getting you in today. She said, you may have to wait a little while. And I said, that's okay. We're doing mother's hearing. We have to grocery shop. I had to eat, just things like that. And I tell you, everything worked out perfectly, perfectly. And when we were leaving, I thought I probably should call the groomer and see if the dogs were ready because I had made an appointment at the dealership to have the oil changed and all the service done, like my husband would have done. And when I was doing all that, that was chaotic. I should have known. I wasn't going to get there in time. And then I did drive there, got lost on my way, and then they said it's going to be an hour and a half minimum. I'm like, an hour and a half to change the oil? And he's like, oh, we have to do all this major inspection. And I'm like, okay, that'll be fine. So I rescheduled because I needed to go pick up my dogs. They've had a day at doggy daycare. That's what I call it. And they got groomed, all prettied up. I did cut Missy's beard a lot shorter because it just gets in. Her beard is beautiful and she is groomed so beautifully, but it just gets into everything. And so then I've got a big mess. But I tell you, when I left the dealership to go pick up my dogs, it's like the traffic was just doing this. Everybody was moving out of my way. The Lord was saying, you're on the right track. This is what you're supposed to be doing today. And I did on my Facebook page. I did do a live while I was there, and I told the same story, probably a little bit different, but anyway. Oh, and I have superb hearing, really superb hearing. I've just trained myself to listen for everything. And I think that's one of the things that the Lord's working with me on is stop listening to everything. Just tune in and listen to Him. Tune in and listen to Him. Wow, didn't know that was coming. But while we were there, Mother was talking or doing something, and a man came up and he interrupted my live to tell me, these are the best hearing aids. You should get some. I was just like, no, no, thank you. But I'm going to go back, and I think I do need to stop hearing everything around me and just tune in and listen. I was listening to him about getting tires, and I got them at the right time, at the right price, at the right place. Everything worked out. And I got to minister to people while I was there. And I'm just telling you today, things are going to work out for you. You'll be at the right place at the right time. And things will just, your dominoes will start falling into place. your puzzle pieces will be put into place. Tune in and listen to Him. Blessings.